Hey everyone, this is knit designer and blogger Heidi Gustad with another knitting tutorial for you today. In today's video, I'm going to give you my best tips and tricks to keep in mind for working ribbing in the round. In knitting, one of the most common things you're going to do when you level up from very beginner projects is working the rib stitch in the round to form things like teeny tiny doll hats, or adult hats, or cuffs on sweaters, or hems on sweaters, or any number of things. And so there's a couple tips that as a designer I think are important to keep in mind when you are working rib stitch in the round. So on my needles here, I've cast on a multiple of 4 stitches so I can do what's called a 2/2 rib like I did in this little hat. So let's talk about the difference between 2/2, 3/3, etc. ribbing first off. So for 2/2 rib, what that really means is that you're going to be knitting 2 stitches and purling 2 stitches, knitting 2, purling 2, and doing that all the way around. And so that's 2/2, but if you want to do 3/3, it's the exact same thing, but instead of 2 stitches of knit followed by 2 stitches of purl, you can probably guess it's 3/3. And the key thing that I want to get across to you guys in this video is that when you work in the round, it's important that your cast on number of stitches mathematically works out so that the multiple of stitches you cast on ends up with an almost seamless ribbing all the way around, so you don't end up with something like knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2 all the way around, and then you did the math a little bit off and you end up with knit 2, and then when you go to start the next row you knit 2 again. So then instead of being a seamless 2/2 or 3/3 or whatever multiple of ribbing, you end up with an uneven ribbing that really affects the look of your hat, and personally drives me nuts, and I think will drive you nuts if you're to the point where you're putting together your own patterns. So what you need to remember to do is when you're doing a 2/2 ribbing for working in the round is to actually cast on a multiple of 4 stitches so that that multiple of 4 lines up all the way around your round of knitting for that seamless 2/2 knitting. And so for 3/3, you would need to cast on a multiple of 6 stitches to get your ribbing to line up. And if you're going for something smaller and want to do a 1/1 ribbing, you will cast on a multiple of 2 so that in the round your work lines all up perfectly. So that's my big tip for understanding how to work ribbing in the round for a variety of knitting projects so you get a really beautiful, clean, and even finished hat, scarf, cowl, whatever you want to knit.